We are back in session. Mr. Lawrence, case number and nature of the charge.
It's case number 20-S-00648, and his charge is disorderly person, obscene, or indecent conduct.
All right, thank you. And the attorneys have already placed their appearance on the record, all of the parties that are involved in this matter. And I have given the attorneys, Attorney Griffin and Attorney Morgan, the opportunity to meet in a private breakout room with Mr. Rose, and we are ready to proceed with intake. And so, Mr. Lawrence, are you presenting Mr. Rose on today?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have Mr. Jacob Rose. He is a transfer case from the 46th Judicial District in Southfield under Judge Sheila Johnson. He is a 21-year-old who lives in a group home with the Mentors of Michigan, and he is reported to have no children. He does have 2 siblings, a sister and a brother. He was charged with a disorderly person, obscene or indecent conduct. I would like the court to note that on September 28th, 2020, there was an order for a competency evaluation by Judge Sheila Johnson, and the results were received on November 9th, 2020. He was found competent. He was sentenced to He was sentenced on December 7th, 2020 to a 12-month probation. He was assessed fines, costs, screening fees, supervision fees, victim rights fees, and treatment is as directed by the 36th District Court. He was credited 1 day of jail time, and he is ordered to alcohol and drug testing at the defendant's own expense. Criminal history involves January 16th, 2019. He pled guilty to a misdemeanor with indecent exposure. Drug of choice is marijuana and alcohol. He did go this morning, Your Honor, to JAMS for a drug test, and so I am awaiting those results. We would have gotten one done sooner, but he just got out of quarantine. There are no current warrants. His income is through his Social Security disability. He does have a GED with a certificate of completion. He does not have a valid license and relies on transportation through the Mentors of Michigan. And I have spoken with Mr. Brian Young, and they will assist in any way possible to get him to his appropriate appointments. And he does have services set up through a provider that meets the criteria for the specialty courts.
Wonderful. Give me 1 second. I think IT is calling me, but give me just 1 second, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Matthew?
Yes, Mr. Wade.
You indicated the source of his income, but you didn't indicate what his income is.
Oh, my apologies.
And I'm sorry, you mentioned his driver's license, but what did you say the status of his driver's license?
He does not have a valid license.
Is it suspended? Did he ever have one?
All right.
He just says he doesn't have a license, but he is eligible, it says.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Judge. I was just asking about the status of his driver's license and the amount of his income.
The income, I have an income of $783. And they do give Mentors of Michigan helps with that, where they provide him, I don't know if allowance is the right term, but they got to give him a certain amount of money every week or month to spend.
Okay.
All right, wonderful. And so, Mr. Lorenz, what type of assessment has Mr. Rose? Did we do any assessments at 36th District Court to determine his eligibility for participation in our specialty court program?
He currently does have services already set up that meets the criteria for mental health court. He has his provider is at Easter Seals.
Okay, and is that outpatient treatment or?
It is outpatient, Your Honor.
All right, very good. And so we are going to set up to get a release from Mr. Rose so that we are able to monitor that he's in compliance with his any medications, in compliance with any recommended services, so that he stays on track. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Brian Young, that's present in the courtroom, him and I have spoken. Mr. Rose has been in quarantine, so we have been unable to facilitate that so far. He just got out of quarantine, so we are working on the documentation.
All right, wonderful, very good. All right, let's start with Mr. Griffin. I'm going to defer to Ms. Morgan. Was there anything, Attorney Morgan, that you'd like me to know about your client in consideration for his transfer into our specialty court?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I will say I communicated with Jacob from the inception of this case. He's a brilliant young man, very smart. He was always attentive. I will say majority of the contact that I do have with Jacob while he's here, with Mr. Brian Young, Kelly Devereaux is the president of at the for Wesley Way. We may have contact with her as well. She may show up. And I also had contact with Michelle. I will say a lot of his contact is with people with him in the room. He does understand, he comprehends. He's a very smart young man. He has been at the home for about 2.5 years. As it refers to his income, I believe Brian indicated to me he receives about $44 a month in income. He does receive disability, but the disability goes toward him staying at the home. As it relates to his treatments that he does have, he is a part of Easter Seal as well as the Open Community Health Network, which he has a psychologist that he sees once a month, Dr. Cho. Actually, I believe Dr. Cho is every 2 months. And he also sees Sherry Van Holy. She's a caseworker or a social worker that he sees monthly as well. I think that he's a very great candidate for the mental health program. I think he's going in the right direction as it relates to majority of the treatment he's already receiving that you guys may want him to do. So if the court doesn't have any questions for me, I would say that Jacob is just a good candidate for the program.
Wonderful. And I want to make sure, Mr. Lawrence, that we get the information about his existing services that he's receiving. I heard at least 2 from Open Community Health Network, and that he has a caseworker. And so, because we don't want to add additional responsibilities or add additional services if he's already receiving services. And so we want really to have the continuity of services. So Ms. Morgan, Mr. Lorenz, make sure that we get all of that information. And
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Attorney Morgan. All right, Attorney Griffin, anything you want to add about your clients, which will become your client today?
I did get a chance to talk with Mr. Rose. Also, we went over the fact that now that I and Attorney Land will be representing him, and he, this is a transfer, and this is Attorney Morgan's final day with him. I'm just excited to start working with him. He already has my number. He asked for it today, so he already has it, and he is aware of what the program is asking of him, and he's prepared to move forward. This is the impression that I got from him. So I'm just, recommending, that he be admitted into the program.
All right, wonderful. Okay, Mr. Rose, I'm going to have you unmute yourself for me. Okay, good morning again.
Morning.
Okay, before I have a few questions for you, let me have Mr. Young, if you could just state your name for the record, please.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Brian Young.
Good morning, Mr. Young. We're so glad to have you. Look forward to a great working relationship with you with respect to Mr. Rose. So thank you. Just know that how we operate, we have an open door to case managers. I mean, the whole team. We're here, all hands on deck, from our probation director to everybody that's associated with our mental health court, including me. And so we look forward to working with you. Anything that we can do to help Mr. Rose to stay on track, and you need us, by all means, reach out, because that's what we want to do. We want to all band together to make sure that he gets the greatest service possible and that he gets to improve in many areas in life. Okay?
We appreciate that, Your Honor. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, great. So, Mr. Rose, you want to participate in our program?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you understand that it's going to be some work on your part. It sounds like you're doing some of that work already.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, wonderful. And so other than the wonderful people that are at Mentors of Michigan, who else is in your corner to support you, to cheer you on?
My family,
Your family. And what is your, who does your family consist of?
my cousins, my mom, my stepdad, my step-grandma, and two of my aunts.
Okay, very good. You have a great support system. Wonderful. So I need you to do me a huge favor on today. You need to add some more people to your support system because we are going to be in your corner cheering you on as well and
All right.
encouraging you to get to the finish line and helping you along the way. Okay?
Okay,
How does that sound?
good. But
That
thank
sounds
you.
all right. And so, Mr. Rose, you had an opportunity to speak with Attorney Griffin, who services our specialty court here at 36th District Court. Did he go over the terms and conditions of the contract with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Did you have any questions for me about that contract?
No, Your Honor.
You understand that that contract may change during the life of your probation here at 36th District Court. You'll always be notified, but you understand that it could change at any time?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, very good. And so, Mr. Rose, do I have your commitment to work the program?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. You understand that while you're with us, you can't use marijuana and you can't use alcohol, even though they may be legal. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, that's very important because while we're trying to help you, we don't want you self-medicating because then we don't know what works, right?
Right.
Just to step in here real quick, it is not allowed within our company either as well. So we definitely monitor that on a day-to-day basis.
Wonderful. Thank you. See, we're already in partnership together, Mr. Young. Thank you. Look at that. We're all on Team Rose. Let's do it. All right. All right. So very, very good. As I indicated to Mr. Young, Mr. Rose, we have an open door. This probation will, if you've ever been on a probation before, this probation won't be like your ordinary probation. You're going to see me more often. You're going to see and talk to your case manager more often. You're going to have a team of professionals that are here to help you and to assist you. You'll have access to the attorneys that are assigned to this specialty court docket. And so we're going to get to know you quite well. And that's important because then we'll know how to help you, how to assist you. And you have to help us with that. Are you up to doing that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, wonderful. Then if I have your commitment, I'm going to ask Mr. Griffin, did you make the determination, Mr. Griffin, that pursuant to Michigan law, your client does in fact qualify or is eligible to participate in this particular specialty court?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, very good. And so with that, I am going to accept you. Nope, I need to ask Mr. Lorenz a couple of questions. Mr. Lorenz, did you make the determination whether or not your client is, or if he's ever been a substantial risk to the public, or if he is a current risk to the public? Or is he a violent offender? I'm sorry, if he is, or if he's ever been a violent offender, and if he's now a substantial risk to the public?
Based on the information obtained and lean, Your Honor, he is not a risk to the public and he is not a violent offender.
Wonderful. So then with that, I am going to accept you into our specialty court. We are glad to have you, Mr. Rose. Specialty court starts today. You don't get a break from us. It starts today. We attach to you today. And so Mr. Lorenz is going to circle back to you, I'm sure, to give you some direction along with Mr. Young as to what the expectations are starting today with respect to testing, Mr. Lorenz. And so I have a question, Mr. Young. You said that you all test there. Tell me a little bit about that testing.
Well, just to make myself clear, I guess I was a little unclear, but we don't test unless we feel it's necessary. So if we have inkling that something might be going on, we'll test them. But every time we've tested them, it's come back negative. We tested it last, what was it, October that we tested you? And that was only because he went on a leave of absence with his family. So, yeah, I mean, we have, like I said, he's monitored 24/7, 365. There's nothing getting in through these doors that we don't know about. So as it pertains to that, we really only drug test when we feel like there's a serious concern.
All right. And so, Mr. Lorenz, I'm going to count on you to circle back to Mr. Young, because the standards of the program is that if he's going, let me ask a question. Does he go out unsupervised, Mr. Young, at any time?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay. So when he goes out, if he goes out like he went on a leave with his family, of course, no one from your facility was there with him.
Right.
Then when he comes back, he has to test.
That's correct.
If he goes out to the store by himself, I don't know if that happens. When he comes back to your facility, does he have to test?
But he does not have community access, which means that he cannot leave the house without one of our staff members with him.
Okay, so Mr. Lorenz, let's have some conversation about what testing looks like. Because again, my goal is not to add additional things to an individual's plate, but to make sure that we're keeping them safe and within the standards of the program. If he's not going out unsupervised, and Mr. Wade, you certainly can chime in. I don't have an issue with him following the testing guidelines at Mentors of Michigan. I don't have an issue with that. Where those guidelines would change, Mr. Young, is if he goes out and he's able to go out on his own, unsupervised, and then he comes back to the facility without testing, then I have to do something differently. So,
of course.
Any objections from the team, Mr. Attorney Griffin, Mr. Wade, Mr. Lorenz, Ms. Branch?
Your Honor.
No objections from me, Judge, not based on the explanation from Mr. Young. There's no objections, but I certainly agree. If at any time that changes, they should let the case manager know so we can make the appropriate recommendations to modify the testing at that time.
If I may, Your Honor, the only piece of information I'd like to share with the court is that Mr. Young has expressed to me that the type of testing that they do is correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Young, but you guys go to Walgreens or CVS and get the over-the-counter drug test. Is that correct?
That's correct. But what I was going to add here after everyone talked is that Easter Seals, his provider, actually offers lab testing. So when he goes in, for his monthly visit, we can actually have him, do those labs straight from there instead of going to the Walgreens or CVS. I mean, we just do that for our records. So Easter Seals has their own records; they do it their way. And obviously we could send them to Quest, I think, or something, but we just prefer to do it right then and there. Just get the answer. So, but like I said, we can modify that and just have him go to Easter Seals when he goes for his monthly visit. While he's there, he gets the testing done. That way you guys have it on record, and we're in compliance with Jacob and whatever you guys need.
Okay, so I am good with him doing the lab test when he goes to Easter Seals. I'm good with that. And then the procedures that you all follow. And the reason I'm good with it is because he's not doing unsupervised time in the community. Now, if that changes, then we have to come back to the table and make some changes.
Of course.
Okay?
I would agree, Your Honor. Thank you.
I don't think with his. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was getting no objections from me either, Your Honor.
No objections from me.
No objections from me, Your Honor. And because the court has already indicated things changes to just let the court know, and then the court may make adjustments.
Yes.
I did have a question, Judge. I didn't know if I missed this when Matthew was presenting, but is he on any prescribed medications?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
I can provide whoever I can provide a whole list of medications, the times, the dosages, whatever you guys need. Provide me with an email address or a fax number. I can fax them right now, email them right now.
And I do have that list from Mr. Young when I did the intake screening. And then basically I'm just gotta get with Easter Seals and verify those medications to coincide with what was reported.
Okay, wonderful. Just make sure we have a record of it. It sounds like you're already doing that. All right, very good. If nothing else, when will Mr. Rose return to court? I know he'll be in contact with you, Mr. Lorenz, but what would be his return to court date?
Your
I'm
Honor,
in-
if we want to do 2 weeks out, it will be the 6th.
Okay, of January.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that would be and I'm going to adjust my time for starting court in January on Wednesdays. Our staffing is from 8:30. It'll be from 8:30 to 9:30. I mean, understanding that there may be some times we have to go over, but then court will start at 10 o'clock a.m. Okay? It'll
Okay.
start at 10 o'clock. Well, we'll put Mr. Rose on for 10 o'clock.
Got it.
All right.
Written down.
And it'll be by way of Zoom. You won't come down to the courthouse, Mr. Rose. It'll be by way of Zoom because we will still be in our virtual courtroom until further notice. And so, but you'll be in contact with Mr. Lorenz. You'll certainly have contact with us long before January 6th. And of course, if need be, Mr. Lorenz, you know, I can be brought into it at any time.
I just want to confirm that the meeting ID will be the same every single court date.
Every single court day. This is my
Got it.
court. Yes.
Okay,
All
perfect.
right. Very good. Anything else, Attorney Morgan, or any of the parties?
I just want to say it's an honor to be in your courtroom today, Your Honor. You are a lovely woman. And Merry Christmas
you.
to everybody. And Merry Christmas to you too, Jacob, okay?
Yeah, you too. Happy holidays.
Thank you for everything you did.
Thank you for everything you did.
Yes, and Miss Morgan, you know you are one of my, yes, Miss Morgan. And so we share the same sentiments. And so it's always a pleasure to have you in the courtroom. And so I want everybody to enjoy their Christmas and their holidays and be safe. We are still in a pandemic. That's my public service announcement. We're still in a pandemic. We are not in the clear. And do consider taking that vaccination. Yes, yes, yes. We won't get better until we do better. All right, very good. And so you all know how to contact me. Miss Drew, I'll get the document, the contract signed and sent to Taylor and Matt and to you. And just let me know if there's other records that you all need signed from me. You have to let me know because I can't open them on this computer.
I sure will.
Very good.
Thank you,
Take
Your
care,
Honor.
everybody. And thank you for serving today, Madam Court Reporter.
Thank you. You're welcome, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Griffin, thank you. Take care, everybody.
Have a
Bye.
good
Thank you, everybody.